Welcome to New Sky TV, it's explosive. The duo of Guanyu and Yiying, in a way that almost defies the logic of short dramas, has ruthlessly torn away the industry's fig leaf, revealing that what audiences truly crave is never perfection, but authenticity. Half-Sweet Plum didn't launch with fanfare, lacking overwhelming marketing rhetoric or relying on exaggerated plot twists to grab attention. But the more you watch, the more you realize, this is a work that dares to put imperfection on the forefront. Without heavy filters or uniformly retouched faces, Guanyu appears rough and ordinary on screen, with a touch of street smarts and a subtle roguishness. His skin condition and facial features are unmasked. Yiying's square jawline is also fully preserved, without any deliberate attempts to create a standard sweet girl template. This courage to face reality is almost a luxury in today's short drama environment. More importantly, this authenticity isn't putting on a show, but rather built upon solid acting. Guanyu's performance doesn't rely on piling up emotions through dialogue, but rather uses subtle physical reactions and changes in his eyes to establish an ordinary yet warm male character. Yiying's performance is restrained and natural, without deliberately trying to be cute or overwhelmed by emotions. Her very presence feels like someone you'd encounter in real life. This human performance gives the character a lasting vitality. Sugar Plum doesn't have ridiculously melodramatic plots or forced, overly sweet scenes. It simply tells a quiet story of daily life, relationships, and the flow of emotions. It's precisely this half-sweet balance that draws the audience in. It turns out you don't need to shower viewers with sugary sweetness to make them feel warm and fuzzy inside. Compared to those industrialized sweet dramas that float on luxury cars, CEOs, and filters, this story is much closer to real life. No wonder longtime fans are collectively saying, good actors shouldn't be buried by the logic of popularity. The industry isn't lacking in meticulously packaged fake perfection, but rather in the courage to leave flaws on camera. Audiences don't dislike sweetness, they were simply tired of being fed fake emotions by standardized templates. What we want to see are characters with edges, flaws, and a sense of life, not human-shaped products smoothed out by algorithms. The emergence of Sugar Plum serves as a sobering reminder, short dramas aren't limited to a fast food approach. When authenticity becomes a scarce resource, it becomes the sharpest weapon. Guanyu and Yiying, with a work that doesn't rely on filters or gimmicks, prove one thing: when acting returns to the human element, the audience's emotions automatically resonate. This isn't a chance breakthrough, but a resonance of audience aesthetic awakening. Perhaps, starting with Sugar Plum, the short drama market really needs to rethink who defines good-looking. But it's precisely because of this that the plight of actors like Guanyu is all the more poignant and deserves repeated mention. The pace of the short drama scene is incredibly fast. How fast? One quarter they're a phenomenal male lead, the next they were pushed to the margins by algorithms, wiped off the trending topics map with a single click. Traffic trends favor young, fresh, and easily replicated faces, rather than performances that require time to mature. Thus, truly talented actors become slow variables, relegated to the back of the list with each new wave of releases. But longtime fans understand that Guanyu's true strength lies not in exposure density, but in keeping the camera on his mind. His face isn't immediately striking, but it's incredibly pleasing to the eye. His acting doesn't rely on outward emotional bombardment, but rather on a slow, penetrating penetration of details. A pause in his gaze, a pause in the delivery of a line, reveals that this is someone genuinely understanding the character, not just a tool in a short drama, fulfilling a production line task. Looking at today's dominant new generation of actors, while there are certainly bright faces and some talent, the problem is, they all look too similar. But the truly terrifying aspect of Sugar Plum goes beyond this. It doesn't just look real, but fundamentally refuses to pander. It doesn't pander to aesthetics, algorithms, or fleeting emotions. It returns the camera to the actors, entrusts the emotions to the characters, and lets the story breathe and grow on its own. You'll find that this drama doesn't adhere to the obsession with being perfectly entertaining. Characters make mistakes, hesitate, say one thing but mean another, and swallow their emotions in silence. It is precisely these imperfections, often considered risk points in many dramas, that constitute the most solid emotional weight. Viewers aren't overwhelmed by sweetness, but rather gradually drawn into life itself. This makes the scenes between Guanyu and Yiying particularly compelling. There are no deliberately aligned sweet moments, but rather, in the repeated glances exchanged and pauses left unsaid, a genuine emotional tension builds. It's not I'm acting for you, but I really lived here. While other short dramas are still using filters to create dreamy bubbles, Sugar Plum has quietly demonstrated a countercurrent, that imperfection can also be the protagonist, that authenticity is the highest form of romance. Perhaps this is why it makes viewers reluctant to swipe away after finishing it. It's not because it's so sweet, but because it's so much like ourselves. The filters are uniform, the acting style is uniform, the emotional rhythm is uniform. Today it's you, tomorrow it's a different name, yet the characters still seamlessly connect. This kind of fast-paced hype might quickly generate data, but it's hard to truly leave a lasting impression. The longer you follow, the more tired the audience becomes. That's why when Sugar Plum appeared, when Guanyu once again stood before the camera in this unpretentious, uncheap way, longtime fans were so certain and excited. This isn't the last gasp, but rather the return of value to its rightful place. Short dramas can be youthful, but not childish. The market can evolve, but it shouldn't be solely about speed. Those who truly uphold the quality of the industry are always the actors willing to spend time on their roles. Popularity charts will reshuffle, algorithms will change, but the audience's eyes won't be fooled forever. Perhaps Guanyu isn't at the top right now, but as long as such works remain, as long as he continues to act seriously, his comeback will come sooner or later. After all, trends may change, but good actors should never be forgotten by time. What truly gives people confidence is that this temporarily underestimated state actually makes Guanyu's acting qualities even clearer. The cruelest thing about the short drama market is that it rewards immediate feedback but rarely rewards long-term value. Whoever is younger, easier to replicate, or more suitable for a template is more likely to be pushed to the forefront. But Guanyu is the opposite. He is the kind of actor who grows more interesting the more you watch him, and becomes more stable and grounded. He doesn't rely on sensational moments to build his presence, but rather on his roles to slowly occupy the audience's memory. This kind of actor will always be at a disadvantage in terms of data logic, but he will always have a place in the audience's hearts. You'll find that those who are still discussing him are almost all longtime fans who have followed him all the way. It's not because of nostalgia, but because they have seen him remain grounded during his peak popularity, and seen him still take every shot seriously during periods of low exposure. This ability to consistently deliver is more valuable than a fleeting moment of fame. Short dramas can replace actors, but this solid foundation in acting cannot. The emergence of Sugar Plum was more like a precise calibration. It didn't push Guanyu back to the center of attention, but it allowed his strengths to be rediscovered. It showed that without relying on a persona or filters, simply being authentic and delivering a nuanced performance could create audience engagement. That seemingly understated yet incredibly powerful appeal is something data curves can't capture, but it's undeniably real. The short drama genre is never short of new faces, but truly talented actors are always a scarce resource. As newcomers are quickly consumed, and audiences begin to tire of copy and paste sweet dramas, actors like Guanyu will be needed again. Because then, the market will realize that what truly sustains a work is never age or filters, but the performance itself. Therefore, instead of worrying about when he'll return to the top, we should trust in the power of time. Popularity fades, algorithms update, but those who breathe earnestly, live earnestly, and act earnestly in front of the camera will ultimately remain. Guanyu may have been a little slower, but he's gone far enough. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.